delighted you're here and that we get to play and learn together. You are a rare breed of giraffes. The first experience the 7 Paths to Play group in this form. There's been an earlier first form, and love to let the penguins say hi. So if you want to go into gallery view, let's see who the penguins are. Who has been a penguin from a prior group? Give us your penguin waddle. Let's see a little. So the giraffes will also have an opportunity to, it's so good to see you, my dear penguins. You'll have dual identities. The giraffes will be creating a signature welcome and farewell move ourselves in the near future, momentarily. But for now, I just we can go back to speaker view and we'll get used to toggling. So, since this is the kind of big first orientation, I want to just start with, because there will probably be some technical issues as I talk about speaker view, and since you're all muted, you can't say, what's speaker view? So I'm going to let Clunker, I'm going to introduce you to Clunker, who will tell you what you need to do in case you're having any kind of technical problem while we're on a call. Clunker.
Hello, everyone. Let's see if I can't highlight myself. Let's see.
Ooh.
All right, am I showing up now?
Yep.
Okay. Hello. If you wiggle your mouse over the screen, you'll see the participants little icon, and that should give you a pop-up list on the right of everyone that's in here. And that's where you're going to be able to do anything that's where you're going to be able to participate. And put your mouse over your picture as well. Let's see, I'm now the admin. Gwen, what's the... I think the hand-raising option disappeared for me since I'm the admin now, so I can't do it to show you all, but it's 3 little dots next to your name.
Okay, so can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so if you need help, what you need to do is go to the chat. So Clunker, tell people what they need to do if just to flag you to let you know help and to get some help.
You can click right on my name and send me a chat directly. Once the list is open to the right, you should be able to click on anybody in there and open up a chat and send that over to me. Otherwise, you can hit the raise your hand button by putting your mouse over your picture and clicking on the raise hand button. Does anyone?
So raise your hand if that is clear, if you got that. And looks like we need some video for Cynthia, Paula, and Kaya. So let's see. Can you ask to start video for Clunker? Could you let Cynthia, Kaya, and Paula invite them to video? Yay, awesome.
Yes, ma'am.
Good to see your faces. So you're going to go to chat, click on, can you all see the chat box? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So if you all see the chat box, if you click on chat, then you can let, hi Kirsten. You can let Clunker know, I'm having trouble. So if you're having any trouble and you can't access that, there should be a default, like some way. So it could be this.
Yeah, that works. I like that. Good little wiggle.
Okay. So we want to make sure that you're not struggling with the technology this whole time. And so if you can let Clunker know if you have an issue by chat, great. If you can't, let him know this way, and he'll have you on gallery view so he can see you.
Yep, and I'll be able to send you a message, and it'll pop up on your screen, so you won't have to hunt around for it. Just click on it when it pops up.
Okay, cool. Everybody good with that? If you have any problem, go like this. Good? Okay, we're going to be speaking sign language a lot. With this many people, we can't have you all unmuted, so we're going to be doing a lot of like, so as we say, use your hands, use your words in your hands. All right, well, welcome to the people who just showed up. It's wonderful to see your faces. I'm just going to relish that for a moment. Some of you are familiar faces, and it's lovely to have you in this space together. We have a big, this is a big experiment. We're going to be exploring the limits of this platform with 20 people, 21 people signed up for the play group. So those 23 people on the call. So we're going to be really just exploring how we can use this platform to play, and also just, we're going to be practicing some patience, as the penguins know. We've learned a lot from what we did in the first jam, and now we're going to we've expanded our level, increased our level of difficulty with 21 people, so it's exciting. So you get to be part of this pilot. We have a big 8-week adventure ahead. We're going to take some of our time today just to get to know each other, to lay some ground for this adventure, get a little oriented on Zoom, and get a high altitude view of the playground. So I'm going to start with let's all go into gallery view. So for those of you who just got here, you'll find an icon that says gallery view or speaker view. And gallery view, you'll know you're in gallery view because you see all of our faces. So once you're in that gallery view, show me, raise some thumbs. Looks like, oh, yep. Yep. Anybody not in gallery view, raise your hand. Awesome. Oh, Kaya, are you on a phone maybe? Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we'll have limitations with people on iPhones, so you'll get to play other ways. We'll see how that works. So let's just see who's here. So wave your hand or wave something if it's nighttime where you are. Wow. That's interesting. So a lot of you, so raise your hand if it's morning where you are. Wave something if this is your first online Zoom group thing. Woo! The uninitiated. It's the first time's always the most memorable. Raise something if you consider your work play. Oh, aren't we lucky? Awesome. Wave something if you live outside the US. Wow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Woo! We'll find out where you live momentarily. Wave something if you've been waiting to become a giraffe since last fall. And I know that the one that you can't, the UCAM was too. Okay, wave something if you think of yourself as a penguin. Wave something if you have ever laughed so hard you peed in your pants. All right, wave something if you want to discover and just unleash your own playful spirit. That's why you're here. Aha, wave something if you came because you want to bring play to your clients. Oh, it's a bunch of you. All right, wave something if you want to bring play to your workplace. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's a bunch of, at least half of you. Hi, welcome, late coming penguin. Wave something if you want to explore how to make play your own livelihood, lead play groups and Ooh, we got one of the two, one and a half of those. Cool. Anybody else have, you can unmute yourself, by the way. If you just wave your little cursor over, and I don't know how this works on an iPhone, so we'll do some of that research. But if you wave your cursor over your own little face, you'll see a mute and unmute button. So if somebody else has any questions for the whole group, to wave something, you want to know who's here, you can just unmute yourself and go. If you're curious about who's in this. Wave something if you like popping bubble wrap. Okay, well, we'll learn a lot more about each other. Did anybody want to unmute themselves and ask a question but didn't quite know how? No? Okay, good. So we've learned enough about each other.
So can I ask a question about where everybody's from?
We will definitely get to introduce ourselves and find out. But we got some intrigue here. We got some nighttime people out of the US. Thanks, Lynn. Until we have our play names. Okay,
we have a few people put up their play names.
Yes.
Other people how to change their name so that they put up their play name.
We are going to do that. We're absolutely going to do that. That will happen right after we do some simple playground agreements. How about that first? So in order for this play group to feel safe and for you to have your full permission to play and, you know, to like quiet some of the noise that we sometimes hear that gets in the way of our feeling like we are free to play. We just wanted to create some agreements, and Funker's going to write these in the chat as we go, and then they're going to end up on the in the Giraffe homepage. So to start with, I'll get us started. I have a few, and then you can actually, why don't you just, for now, you know, I'm not sure, we haven't really shown you how to raise your hand. So you'll just unmute yourself and speak when you're ready until we figure out how to tell you to, unless it's really clear, you should be able to see when you click on participants, you should be able to see a little hand and say, raise your hand. Or, let's just see if you can see that. Put your thumb up if you can see that. Can you keep your thumb up? Okay, there's enough struggle that we're not going to do that right now. So the first playground agreement, as we know, the first rule of playgroup is that we do not talk about our jobs, our JOBs. So I know some of you are here with your work, as part of your work, and I'm going to just invite you to explore what it feels like. And, you know, it's going to come out. It's going to come out in our conversations. It's going to come out with buddies. It's already come out on the Facebook page. But do see what it's like to just lighten your identity. We're going to shift our names to our play names. And we're also just going to explore how it feels to not have our identity attached to our work for a little while. Just gives a little elbow room, a little more space to play. So that's our first agreement, the first rule of playgroup. It's a job-free zone, and even if you wouldn't be here if it weren't for your job, while we're in the group, we'll be doing that. That's also why we have play names, to shift our identity, because oftentimes our identity is what keeps us from playing. So I know that you will be getting to know each other, and we'll be talking about how to bring play to work. It will come out for sure. Confidentiality. So we will be recording the play jams, and they will be posted on the homepage, but you will not be sharing that with anybody. That will help make it possible for us to make complete fools of ourselves. So that confidentiality also just means that what happens here stays here, and you can refer to your own experience, and you can share stories, but you don't say anything that suggests who's associated with that story. Okay. Play is about freedom. So that means that we're free to play and we're free not to play. So if at any point you just don't feel like, you want to play, you're totally free. There's no enforced playing. It's also, I want to really dignify that not playing is a really powerful choice. The only request is that you just really keep your presence, your focus in the space. You don't leave. So you're supporting the play, even if you leave, if you decide not to play. And that means that your choice to play is really your choice. So even if you never exercise not playing, you just know that that's a possibility, and that will support your sense of freedom. So take care of yourself primarily. That's the bottom line. Do what is really right for you, and stretch. So we can agree to play as risk, really. We play to the extent, the Indo-European word for play is pliegen, which literally means to risk. So it is a bit of a risk, and you get to decide what risk to take. An agreement that supports our play is to celebrate mistakes. So we do that by, if we do something that's like not in, whatever, any kind of mistake, or if we feel like we made a fool of ourselves, it's a general improv principle that we just go, ta-da! So it's just like, you just celebrate it. So thank you. Let's all try just what it feels like to go, ta-da! Yay! Made a mistake. Awesome. Learning is happening. So it's a sign that we're alive. All right. We've got a list going in the chat. Does anybody want to add anything that would support you? And you can just unmute yourself and do that, and Clunker will write it down. Yay! Welcome.
Hi.
We forgive mistakes. We celebrate them and we forgive them. Awesome.
Looks like Supernova, you had your hand up, so I unmuted you. Supernova?
Is she unmuted?
I thought so, yeah. All right, who else got their hand up?
Supernova, do you want to write it down in the chat? Let's see what she writes. So you can also just write it in the chat to everybody.
Okay. Anybody
else who has one? Just think what might help, what might support you in feeling more free to play. It can be something like, you can't do it wrong. There's no such thing as playing wrong. I'm going to add that one.
How about we celebrate silliness?
We celebrate silliness. Practice, practice. Oh, it looks like I did a private one, huh? Everybody. You can't play wrong. Celebrate silliness. Awesome. Practice, practice, practice. Okay, well, I'm going to give it another minute if you want to write one down. If you're trying to write one down and you can't, wave your hands. Okay. It looks like at least initially some time is going to be taken just to make sure that we can do what we're asked to do. Okay, so who can agree to these agreements? This is all being recorded, by the way, so it's it can be Can be used in court. This is the official legal agreement. All right then. Beautiful. Good. So there's also some things that could make it easier for us with this during these muted phases, which is just if somebody says something, these are just little ways to communicate. If somebody says something that touches your heart, that just makes you feel like you want to express some love, you can just go like this. It's just nice to do. If somebody, something that I found useful is if you find yourself like feeling like you made a mistake and you want to apologize, we apologize a lot. We tend to, I caught myself constantly saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And so I've changed my habit and I now practice saying I'm sexy instead of I'm sorry. So you might try that as a practice.
Nice.
It's also fun to say sexy if somebody else, does something that's kind of clumsy. So we can incorporate a few of these. All right. So let's rename ourselves with our play name. So let's learn about renaming ourselves. And Clunker, you want to take us through that?
Yep, we should all still be in the gallery view right now, where you see everybody's faces. If you put your mouse right over your own face and click right on top of your name, you should be able to click on rename. It looks like quite a few people already have.
Okay, great. Those of you, yeah.
Yes, Joan? Unmute your audio. You have a question?
Oh, no, got it. No, I just got it. That's good.
Okay.
So we're going to be at the beginning of each play group. So this is a big orientation. It feels a little clumsy, but we're going to get used to it. And at the beginning of each play group, you're going to be renaming yourself. Good revision there, silly puppy. And making sure that that's what we see. So we got a few people still unnamed. That's some great names. Awesome. Okay, great. So those of you who are still unnamed know how to do it, and you can, I'm guessing that if you're not doing it, it might be because you're on an iPhone and you can't do that. Okay. Okay. And here's the great thing is that you can change your name. You might have noticed that I've changed my name twice. I started out as Funny Butt and I became Buttons. So you can change your name, but it helps if we have some, if there's something that we can remember. So what we're going to do now is we're going to come up with our signature giraffe greeting and farewell. Okay, this might take a little room this is how we say hello. So I see some people are starting, so let's see if we can find a movement together that, oh. By George. I think we've come to some consensus. Okay, we have our giraffe hello and goodbye. Great. All right. I know this is this is a lot of things. Now this is also going to be super important because everybody sees a different screen. Believe it or not, like in my screen, I'm on the upper second to right left corner. Everybody sees a totally different screen. So to feel like we're in the same space together and to be able to do any kind of exercise that has us, go in almost imagine we're in a circle, but go in some sequence so we're not having to figure out who's next all the time and we can play some games. We're going to count off numbers and basically, then we're going to put our numbers. So we're going to do that each time. because there'll be a different number of people in each group, because not everybody shows up to every group. So we're going to count off numbers, and that will be your place in your number in the order when we do a process. So we'll start with 1. I'll be 1. So unmute yourself. Woo. Let's see what it's like to be unmuted.
Okay, Cordoffin's 2.
3.
Oh.
You got 3?
Yep, maybe 4.
4, 5, 6,
7. 7.
All right, you guys,
7.
duel it out, duke it out.
9.
Who's 7?
Me.
2. But
11.
Hi, bouncer.
Squibble.
Okay, put your number. Let's put your number rename yourself and put your number in your name as we go.
Yeah, excuse me.
Looks like that's 9. We got Bisbee is 9. Slinky Cat's 10.
okay. 11.
I think High Bouncer, you're 7.
Oh, am I 7? No, I thought Wibble was
Squibble
7.
is 7.
Oh, okay. Wibble 7. Great.
Yeah, I'll be 11.
11.
12.
12.
13.
Otter, I think
13.
13.
13. Fine. Yeah.
14. We got a 15.
I'll be 15. Whatever that is.
15. Bubbles is 15. We got a 16. Raise your hand if you're 6 going once, going twice. Supernova. Sprinkles is 17.
All right. Rhymes with left says she's trying to unmute, but she can't, so she's going to go last.
Okay.
So that's it, right? Me, I'll be 19 or 18 then.
I see Sparkle is 13 as well, so there's 2 13s.
Okay. Otter, would you like to be?
So which one do you want me to be?
Well, we need everybody who knows their number, put it on your, rename yourself and add your number. I know Sprinkles, you can't do that. Oh, no, you can. You've been able to do that. So let's. Six. Red, what number are you?
She's 12.
12, okay. 13. That.
No, Goose is 12 as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna solve this really simply. So, all right, I'm gonna say go in order. I'm gonna count out 1,
2.
Where's 4? Wait, we gotta get 4.
4.
There.
4. Okay, 5, 6, 7,
7.
8. Okay,
I'll take
8. All right, 9. Bisbee, you want to be 9?
Okay.
Bisbee, you're 9. I'm gonna name. So you need to put your. Here, I'm gonna put 9 here for you, Bisbee. You got to put your number on your name. So we got 10, Slinky Cat, 11, High Bouncer, 12, 13.
There's 2 12s.
2 12s? Okay, Red, you're 12. Goose, we'll find out what you are in a second. 13, 14. Looks like you're 14, Goose. 15. Bubbles. 16. 17.
Yep.
Sprinkles. 18. Looks like you're 18, Clunker.
18
is rhymes with laughs and Clunker. Okay. All right. Wow. Good job. That's a lot of work. So let's try unmuting yourself if you can And let's just go in order. Let's just see what it's like to go say our names and our numbers in order.
I've unmuted everyone.
Okay, awesome. 1.
Buttons. 2.
3,
4,
5,
7.
8.
Can't hear. Looks like Fizz.
11.
12.
Where are we at?
13.
13.
This is the big experiment. 13. Sparkle. You're 13.
Oh, 13, sorry. 14. 15.
Supernova 16. Your microphone's still not working?
Yes. Okay. All right. We're going to have some limitations. All right. Well, thank you for, so we're going to try to use this. This is a massive first time in the world premier experiment of stretching Zoom to become a playground. So it will be, of course, adjusting to figure out how to make this as seamless as possible in the future. But it will be good. So remember your number, okay? Because I think it's a little tedious to have to do this each time. So we'll see if we can do this with our own numbers, by remembering numbers. Okay, let's try going in order and say your name, say your number, or actually say your number and name and throw an air ball. So I'll be, an air ball is basically, I'm gonna make a sound that is, and hold a ball, an imaginary ball, and I'm gonna toss it to my next in line person, number 2. And that person's gonna catch that ball and it's gonna change and they're gonna send it to the next person with a new sound, okay? So I'll just catch. Now what we're gonna do with that is we're actually gonna not do our number and name. We're just gonna, it's enough. So I'm gonna catch an air ball. Pooh! So number 2.
Woo. Woo. Woo.
Woo! Bisbee.
I can't see number 10.
That was number 10.
That was number 10?
Oh, yeah, 11. Oh, just went to 12. Whoop. Yeah, there we go. 12 has it. Supernova, it's yours. Your ball, babe, Supernova. Okay, let's just go right to Sprinkles. It's your ball. Sprinkles?
Frozen.
Looks like it's frozen.
Okay, frozen, the ball will become a snowball.
Oh, there we go. Is it back?
Sprinkles, can you throw the ball? Nope. You've got problems with, oh, okay. Sprinkles, you've got the ball. You've got the ball. Can you throw the ball to number 14, is that 18?
18.
Sorry, I can't see. Yeah, I can't see the view, so I'm a little out of it. I'm in a cab. I'm losing a signal, so it's.
Okay, all you have to do is take a dig, just blow out through your mouth. Nope.
I can't hear
She
you.
can't hear.
Can't hear. Okay, I got the ball for her. I got it for you, babe.
Thank you.
All right, you throw out the rhymes with laughs, and her camera's not working, so I'm just going to assume she's throwing it to me. And I got it, and I'll toss it back to you.
Oh, wow, what a journey. It's been through 3 continents, I think. This is quite, okay, well, this is quite educational. Wait, we'll explore that some more. So let's try now going in order and and introducing yourself with your play name. So we're just going to go, tell us your name, why you chose it, where you're from, and I'll remind you of these, why you joined the group, and mime how you like to play. A lot of things, so we're going to try to do it under a minute each. Can you do that? Okay, I'll start, so we're going to go in order. I'm Buttons. I just want to say I started out as Funny Butt because of the, I keep hearing people being called badass, right? I want the badass. And I was like, well, am I a badass? I couldn't figure out if I was a badass or not. And I realized, no, I need to reclaim that. I think I'm a funny butt. So I reclaimed, funny butt. And then I realized I don't really want people to call me funny butt for an entire 8 weeks. So the thing is, I actually love to make things out of buttons. It's one of my fetishes, obsessions. So you'll see buttons on me all the time. So I'm Buttons. And I'm here in Hawaii right now. I'm normally in California. And I like to play one of my favorite plays of playing. And I'm here because I want nothing more than to help liberate our spontaneous free play and transform our world into a playground.
I'm number 2. I'm Kordofan. I picked that name because it's one of the 9 subspecies of giraffes, and I wanted to connect with the whole giraffe concept. I live in Santa Monica. I'm from California. I'm here because I wanted a fun place to, let my hair down and just play with y'all.
Wow.
And I guess I'm also here because, all my kids grew up and moved away, and I have to learn how to play for myself again and not, always be thinking of fun things for them to do.
Thank you.
I'm number 3. Are we ready?
Well, how do you like to play Kordofan?
How do I like to play?
You can mime it first.
Let's see. Silly things, making faces, playing with things in an unusual way.
Thank you. 3.
So I'm number 3,
Pixie.
and I used to live in Santa Monica.
What's your
and now
name?
live in Oakland.
What's your name and how did you choose it?
My name is, oh yeah, right, my silly puppy. Well, last time I had this guy's name, and I have more fun playing with this little puppy who's been with me for the 1.5 years since I've rescued him. And he's the most fun to play with, and I laugh out loud, and sometimes I get belly aches from laughing so hard with him. and he's the most fun to play with. I love to play with him and with any little kid at all. So that's just fun. I'm trying to let the little kid in me out a lot more. That's why I'm in the group. It's actually my second group. I'm also here because I want to see what you did with it, how you've changed it. But I really am mostly here just to free me so that I can play with more than my puppy.
And where are you located?
I'm in Oakland, California.
Oh, did you say that? Great. 4.
Fly Mo here, Boston, Mass. I'm here because I love to play and sometimes don't get enough time to play. And I'm looking forward to playing with you all. And I'd like to be silly and I'll try to mime something. I just like to be weird when I play, or fun, or anything, whatever's in the moment and whatever gets me out of my head. So I don't really care what it is, so long as it's just something that can get me into my heart and just have fun.
Let's give everybody a little like mwah.
Mwah.
I'm number 5. My name is Go See Do, because I like to go see and do. And it reminded me of this song we used to always sing in junior high about mares dotes and dozy dotes. And I thought it'd be fun if that song were about go see do's and making it all kind of one mashup of word. So that made me smile to think about. I am in New York City right now, but I live in Brooklyn. And my favorite way to play is anything that involves movement and jumping. And I come from a ridiculously silly family, so it's in our DNA.
Number 6. Quacking Up. I chose Quacking Up because I just moved into a place that has a stream and a waterfall and trees. In the middle of the night, the ducks will come in and they start arguing with each other, and I wake up in the middle of the night quacking up because it's so hysterical to hear them argue. Every time I see them fly over, I crack up. So I chose that name because it's fun. Former Penguin, and was so excited just really simply to reunite with everyone. See and meet new people and have a continued fun experience. I want to be free. That's why I want to play. And I like to do it like that. Spit her out. And I'm in Ventura, California, formerly of Santa Monica. So we're all last few of us. And I started the same way.
It's me, is it? So, Wibble. Yeah, I chose Wibble because somebody who inspired me to play used to say it when we were doing a warm-up. She used to say, Wibble from your feet up to the top of your head. So it was kind of like a corkscrew wibble. So that's what came to me in the moment. I am living in Dublin in Ireland, and originally from Cork, if that's the south part, but I'm in the east. And why am I here? Gosh, the answer changes all the time. I like everybody else's answers, but I like the spirit of freedom. Really, I can take things too seriously, so I just like to be spontaneous or be in spaces where that part of me comes out more. And I really want to, I think it's something about play being more a part of everyday life, really, for me. Something that I actually it's integrated. So that's what I'm after. Little ways, little habits, little practices without trying too hard. So it's an interesting balance. And how do I like to play? I like to move, but not always fast.
Eight.
I
I chose, can everybody hear me, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, that's how I like to play with everybody. So everybody shook their head. That's the way I like to play. And I chose otter because I think it's a very playful animal and it's very smart. And it's a water animal. I love the water. So that came to mind. I live in Ireland, but I'm from Holland originally. So I don't belong to a country, but I belong wherever I am. So I'm in Ireland now. And where am I now? Why am I in this play group is, I don't actually know, because it's fun. That's it.
And how do you like to play?
I love to play, yes.
How? What kind of play?
Like I did with everybody.
All right.
Number 9.
9, Frisbee. Oh, we have an audio problem. Oh.
You should be able to talk. You good? I've unmuted you.
You can talk, Frisbee.
I can hear you. I can hear you now, yeah.
Would you like to write? Huh. Yeah, she's going to write it in our chat. So, write it in small bits and return so we can read along with you. And for those who might not be able to read this, I'll read it out loud. I'm Frisbee because I love wind, and for me, has some wind sound. I love to play with water and nature. Where are you from? I'm from Brazil, south of Brazil. You're in Brazil now. Porto Alegre. Bom dia. Muito prazer.
Wow.
And yeah, I think that you just answered all the questions. Oh, and why are you in the group? Why are you here? I'm here because I love to learn new stuffs. Muito bom. Tutto bem. All right. Sorry, my English. Great. Thank you. Welcome from Brazil. We do have 3 continents, or maybe 4. Slinky Cat.
Yes, I am Slinky Cat as of today, and I chose that name because it just popped into my head, and I thought, Slinky, Slinky, fun for a boy and a girl. No hidden meanings there, but it's just a fun thing, and then added the Kirsty Cat. And I live in Vancouver, Canada, and I am here because I am determined on a mission to, like Gwen, bring playfulness to children and adults around the world. And so every opportunity I get to be in the playful company, I am excited. And my favorite ways to play, let's see, toys and games. Toys and board games, and improv.
11.
11, that's me. High bouncer. And I'm a high bouncer because I rebound really well from stuff that's happened. So I was thinking about one of those little bouncy balls. I am in Newfoundland, Canada, and if I sound Irish, it's because I come from an area where we're all Irish descendants. And how do I like to play? I like to play any way. I can take anything and make a toy out of it. I can make a hair thing out of it if my hair would stay off, but it won't. And I love words. My family and I are always using wordplay. I love words. And the reason why I'm in the play group is I too want to share play and fun with anybody I can. But specifically, I was kind of intrigued by the 7 different categories of play that Gwen has mentioned. So I'm very interested in seeing how what each of those actually means. So.
Thank you.
Glad to be here. Oh, and I could do a really mean elephant.
Ooh. Good.
And the giraffe's jealous.
Yes.
Oh, giraffes don't make noise. They don't have a larynx, apparently. Yes.
So when we're on mute, we'll just embody giraffes. We'll just know we're being giraffes.
But giraffes chomp a lot on leaves, and you hear them. You hear them chomping.
Yes.
So we could
true.
Okay, thank you, High Bouncer. And 12.
Hi, I'm Red. I'm from a place called Milton Keynes in England, and that's between Cambridge and Oxford. I met Gwen in Denmark earlier this year, and I am called Red because it's Little Red Riding Hood grown up, and I turned the walls around me into my friend and my allies. And I'm here because I'm interested in the 7 paths to play, and also, like Rhymes with Laughter, I make stuff. Mostly because I want to overcome my fear of doing things that scare me. And it's really weird, but I don't equate play with silliness at all. For me, play is very purposeful, because even if it's to relax, then there's the purpose. And I see it as really practical. So the ways I like to play are thinking up ideas and then sharing them with others and implementing them, and writing. I like doing that. So it's all very kind of practical, but not so much of the movement stuff and the silliness stuff.
Isn't it great to have so many ways to play?
Thank you.
Thank you. 13.
Okay, I'm Sparkle. I chose Sparkle because I feel that I want to add a little bit of light and brightness in my life right now. And I just thought about Sparkle was the first word that came to my mind. I'm here because I just want to have fun. I want to infuse some fun, meet people that... Sorry? I want to infuse some fun and meet people that actually want to have fun with me and just enjoy the moment and just infuse some happiness every time we meet and keep that happiness going. And the way I like to play is I like to make a lot of jokes, and I joke a lot, even at work. So I just like to laugh as much as I can. And what was the other question? Oh, yeah. So I'm from New York. Well, I live in New York, but I'm from Colombia, and I went to school in Canada. So Colombia, Canada, and I guess the States now.
Nice. And did you say how you like to play?
Yep.
Yeah.
I had to unplug the phone.
I said making jokes.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Thank you.
I chose Goose because it's sort of an inside joke with a friend, and it just invokes silliness for me and just playfulness. I was one time goose bombed, where there was just like 50 pictures of goose or geese, I guess, on my desk. So that's where it came from. I live in Brooklyn, work in New York. Silliness, I guess, is, I don't know, like tickling, being annoying, sort of. Making jokes. Though I don't really like being silly in groups, so this is a little bit out of my comfort zone.
I changed my name mid this meeting. So I changed it to Ray from Bubbles. I was a penguin. So I chose Ray because I live in Toronto in Toronto, Canada, and the sun is finally out and like this week. So it's like ray of sunshine, feels good, pops in, makes everybody feel good. So that's why I chose that. I live in Toronto by way of New York. I grew up in Buffalo and lived in New York City for a couple of years. I'm here to continue the penguin journey into being a giraffe and staying in play in everyday life. And my favorite way to play, also dance.
Supernova, can you speak?
I think Supernova is going to type.
Ah, okay. In case somebody can't read this, I love the idea and feel. I don't play enough, and I really enjoy the influence of being around people who are playful and lighthearted. I try to make my work playful, but if I have free time, I tend to choose to work instead of play. So I need your influence. I live in Sacramento. My favorite way to play is to sing, and that's here. Maybe you want to clarify that? That's hard sometimes to be playful at.
Mm.
Yes. Wow, and there you are without a voice. It's a long way from singing. Very safe zone. Thank you.
Yeah.
17. Sprinkles? Can you speak at all? Or do you want to type? Can you type or can you just...
Who is it?
Sprinkles. Number 17. Are you in any kind, can you express anything, or can you speak, or you can nod, or?
You can text me if you want, Sprinkles, and I can translate for you.
Sprinkles is frozen. Difficult to play when
you're frozen.
When you're frozen.
I think she may be in TSA.
Yeah.
Oh, is she heading?
She got out of the cab.
Oh.
Okay. We'll just go.
Oh, that was her.
Hello?
Oh, yeah.
Hi. Okay, I'm Sprinkles. I'm number 17. I'm in a cab. I'm just pulling into the airport at LaGuardia. So I'm going to introduce myself.
I am here because I'm really intrigued with the 7 paths of play. I miss Gwen and her mischievous spirit in my life, and I need to smile and laugh more. Ways I love to play are I like to play music, like with the drum, and I like to make things with my hands, and I love to play with words also. And I'm very happy to be here, and I'm glad I got to introduce myself before I hop off and go through security.
And you're from Minneapolis.
Nice.
Okay.
Fly safely.
We're flying with you. And 18 rhymes with laughs.
She said something earlier. She typed it up, so I'll read that one. I've got it here.
Okay.
Said, I live in Boston, actually from California, though. Initially thought of calling myself transposer, but that seemed obscure. rhymes with laughs, captures the transpositional aspect, is more fun. I think of making stuff as my play. I'm a bit of an introvert, but I would like to be more of an extrovert with my playfulness. I also like to play with my doggies and my family, and going to have to leave briefly to take my daughter to something.
Okay.
Thank you. That leaves me. I'm Mitchell. Nope, I'm Clunker. And that name came from a mountain bike documentary about the birth of mountain biking. And I thought it was fitting for where I'm staying right now up in Fairfax, which is Northern California, where mountain biking was where it came from. And I'm here to do tech support to help out and to learn anything I can while I'm here. Why not use this as an opportunity to grow? I'm excited to see what happens. That's it.
Wonderful. All right. So I'm going to give you some context. We can go back to speaker view if you want. And that's the phone. I'm house sitting in Hawaii right now, in Maui, and I have no control over my environment. So you'll hear occasional sounds like that. Luckily, it's pleasant. So I want to give you a little bit of some context, some orientation for the play group as a whole. You know, we're all here to bring more play to our lives, but we are actually all already inherently playful creatures. We are wired to play from the moment we're born. And we have the capacity to play throughout our lives. So why would we need a play group? You know, the playground is our natural habitat. Like every species has a habitat, and we humans have been able to cover the globe and adapt to any physical environment. And that's because our actual habitat, the only environment in which we can really flourish as a species, in which our gifts can blossom, is really a playground. It's the sense of possibility and adventure. So how did we leave our playground? And why do we need a play group? Why did we stop playing? There are a number of reasons. It's important to actually have some sense of what stops us from playing. If we're naturally playful, then what we're really doing is removing the obstacles to play in order for us to liberate our playful spirit. Mm-hmm. And some of those are just habits. You know, some of us are just in some really unplayful habits. There's a natural tendency as we age just to become more rigid. Even though we can play throughout our lives, we do get stuck in habits, and habits really prioritize safety over adventure. We start to say more no's and fewer yeses to life. And that keeps us holding on to this basic sense of security, staying in our comfort zone. And when that happens, our vibrancy diminishes, the world becomes grayer, our perceptions dull. We start to feel a longing to connect with our own creative force again and with each other. Because yes actually connects us to a larger world. One of the definitions of play, and there are like 26 in the Oxford English Dictionary alone, one of the definitions is movement. Like a rope has movement, has play if it's moved. Oh, by the way, I'm going to tell you, I can hear some typing, and all of this is going to be recorded. So you don't have to take any notes. It's all going to be available tomorrow, probably on the Giraffe homepage. So if you can just free yourself up to just take in what has meaning now, and then you can take a look at the transcript tomorrow. And I'm going to leave, these are all in notes, so I'll put the actual physical notes on the site too, so you won't even have to transcribe. So play is movement, it's flexibility, it's the capacity to respond, to be to adapt, whether physically, emotionally, intellectually, or even spiritually. And there's inherent joy in that movement. The word ecstasy actually is ecstasis. It's movement. It's not being static. And it gives us joy. It's also allowing energy to move through us. So we get blocked and lose the play in life when we resist our energy, when we resist any aspect of our experience. That's really the key. Play is, at its root, the ability to let energy move through, play through us. And the real joy of play comes when we let life live through us and play through us. That's when we're in play with life. So it's kind of high altitude understanding, but play itself. Hey, Clunker, could you mute everybody? Sorry. Yeah. All right. Play is a kind of qigong for the soul. It provides a workout that kind of helps shake loose the rigid patterns of thinking and doing that we have so that energy can move through us. One of those habits that keeps us in our comfort zone is the desire to stay safe. It's a safety habit because play is risk. As I said, pliegen, the Indo-European root for play, actually literally means risk. We play to the extent that we feel safe. If animals don't feel safe, if they're stressed, if there's a predator, they don't have food, they'll stop playing, but they will naturally play as soon as we feel safe. So if we're not playing, it's because we don't feel safe. It's bottom line. We would be playing if we felt safe. The no to life is a sense of trying to stay safe. So another habit that we have is we actually look for where we don't feel safe. We're in the habit of looking for where the threat is. And this is also, we're wired for play, but we're also wired to have a negativity bias, to protect ourselves. So these are two really core forces in us. One to stay safe and the other to play. And navigating and negotiating is really, it's actually very simple when we have an accurate sense of threat. But most of us actually have an hyperactive and not very refined sense of threat. Everything looks like a saber-toothed tiger, like, or another word for that is your critical parent or something that's going to judge you or deem you not worthy of love, basically. So it's really deep in our brain, that sense of looking for threat. So it's actually a habit. It's a new habit that we get into to look for where we're safe. It's the choice to be safe. This is where we're actually wiser than that amygdala brain, and we have to change our habits in order to practice being safe. So we have much less practice looking for evidence of safety than we do for evidence of threat. So I want, so we think there's something objective about our circumstances that makes us feel safe. We think we're looking for evidence that will show, okay, well, people are smiling, that means they're safe, or, we have our playground agreements, that's going to make us safe, or nobody has a gun, like we're looking for the objective evidence that tells us we're safe. But most of us don't have a gun pointing at us. I mean, if we look, we'll see that there isn't actually a threat, at least a physical threat. And most of the time there isn't even an emotional threat unless we create it. So even if we have threatening people in our lives and it seems like there's a lot at stake, we can still find and build on the ways that we're already safe. So a lot of what I'm going to be doing, laying the ground for in this, in the next 10 minutes, is to really have this extend throughout the 8 weeks, is to start practicing safety. And there are a couple ways that we can do that. So one thing is just to notice what it is about your experience that actually feels safe. Just pay attention to where you are safe. Notice safety. And I'm going to, actually, I don't know that we have time for this, but I want you to think right now. We was going to pair you up in groups, but for now, just think of a time when you felt really safe. And just what became possible. Like, what that feeling is in your body of just like, yeah, I can relax. What was happening? What were the external circumstances? And what were the internal circumstances? So that feeling that you're getting, if you can call something up now, is actually a resource. You can invoke that. It's something that you can practice. Just like remember. I mean, we talk a lot about like go to your happy place. Like just remembering what is safe. And sometimes it's even just looking for something that's beautiful around you. You know, noticing, oh, there's beauty. Noticing some part of your body that feels good or comfortable. But that some part of you feels safe, is safe. It's very rare. We have an exaggerated sense of when we're not. Not saying that that never happens, but it's not as nearly as common as we think. And mostly it's because, like, what is it that really has us not feel safe? It's with humans, particularly, we've learned that at the root of our sense of safety from the moment we're born is a sense of connection. When we feel fundamentally safe, then life feels like a playground full of adventures, possibilities, and playmates. And when we feel less secure, it becomes a proving ground. This is something that you might have heard me talk about or have read. I've written a lot about this. But it's based on attachment theory. When we have a less secure sense of a connection, we feel like we're more insecure, and we feel like we have to perform and prove ourselves and test our environment, and because our sense of connection is less secure. So we're always looking to establish some sense of security in our connection, and we do that by perpetually proving ourselves, and we're goaded on constantly to do enough, to be enough, to do it right, to get it right, so that we can finally earn the safety and security that we need in order to play. So play seems to come at the end of proving ourselves. Like we have to finish the job. We have to accomplish certain things in order, not necessarily because it's, you know, there's really going to be a big impact out in the world, but more because of our own sense that once we do, we'll be okay. We'll earn our approval. And that's, there's a whole like background music to that, which I call WBNE radio. It's wrong, bad, and never enough. It's this, whenever you hear that judge come up, that incessant, you know, you're not enough. That wasn't good. How did I do? No, I said too much. I said it too loud. I'm talking too much. I'm not talking enough. I'm not playing right. I should play more. I should play looser. I should, anything that tells you that how you are and how this moment, exactly the way it is, isn't exactly right, isn't safe, isn't that you aren't connected already. That's proving ground mentality. And then in a more extreme case, we get battleground mentality, where we think everything is a threat, where we feel really insecure and we have to continually protect and defend ourselves against incessant threats. So, you know, when we try to prove, like win on the proving ground or succeed on either the proving ground or battleground, we may have this temporary sense of, you know, ta-da, I did it. But ultimately, we're still on the proving ground and battlefield and not quite free to play. And this is a habit. And it's interesting because whenever I write a lot, and I always I write about improv a lot. And every time I write the word improv, there's an autocorrect built into the computer that turns it into improve. You can't write improv without having to go back and erase the E and get back to improv. It's like we have that same autocorrect in our psyches. We're constantly, you know, trying to, the autopilot is like conditioning us to look for our own and others' deficiencies, improve ourselves. So this is part of the proving ground habit. And notice those autocorrects in you that turn freedom into something that you have to improve. So we all have areas of our lives that feel more like playgrounds, proving grounds, and battlegrounds. I want to invite you to think for a moment, where in your life do you find yourself on a playground? Like, where are the free parts of your life? Just think of one. Last time you felt free to play. It's not like we just live in one place. And we're going to pair up and give you a few minutes to do this in pairs. But think first, what parts of your life also feel like proving grounds? where you feel like you're a little less secure. You find yourself like working too hard to get something, or just sort of stressed in some way. So what part of your life feels like a battleground, where it's like, no way, this is totally not safe. Play isn't even on the menu. It's just dog eat dog, gird your loins. So we're going to pair you up, and you can ask. We'll paste these questions in the chat, but you'll just share for just a few minutes each, and you can sort of do this organically. There'll be about 5 minutes total. Where in your life do you find yourself on a playground, a proving ground, and a battleground? What provokes it, and what's the cost? What happens when you're in that state? How do you see yourself? How do you see others? How do you behave? What risks do you take or avoid? So I'll write the questions here, and we'll split you up into pairs. And you're going to be randomly connected to somebody, and you'll have 5 minutes, and I'll let you, there'll be a 1 minute warning before we come back to the whole group. Any questions before we go? Okay, unmute yourself if you have a question.
Do we finish in 10 minutes?
No, it's a total of 5. It's not very long, but we
okay. No, I mean our session.
Yeah. I want to, when we come back, I want to ask if it's okay to go over a little bit, but I recognize.
Okay, I might not be able to. So.
Okay. So let's aim for. Well, no, this is only 5 minutes. You know what? I'm going to actually not do. I'm not going to pair you up. You're going to be getting a buddy. And you'll have a chance to be with a buddy between sessions, and I'm going to invite you to do this with your buddy. Okay? Mm-hmm. Just, it took a lot. There's just all these variables, so I'm going to just keep going as we work out the glitches. So we bring our provers and battlers with us wherever we go. I mean, most of us will at some point in the play group feel self-conscious and want to do the play group right, and it's okay. That's why we're in the play group, to get out of the cages of our proving ground conditioning. Let's mute everybody's clunkers. Thank you. So how do we change the channel from wrong, bad, and never enough, WB&E, so we can feel safe? There is a password to the playground. And it is, can anybody guess what it is? If you want to, well, I'm going to just tell you, because there's technical issues letting you chime in. So the password to the playground is yes. The station we're looking for is WYES. I mean, the playground is a big yes to life. It's yes to whatever is happening in the moment. It's yes to what you're feeling about it. It's yes equally to the pleasant and the unpleasant. The proving ground is more like a maybe, like a conditional yes, maybe, more no. And it tends to err on the side of no, but it's very conditional, and it's more no than yes. While the battleground is a big no. It's our no is so habitual that we don't even notice until we start trying on yes as a practice, how much no we have. So many of you know of yes and as a basic theater improv principle. And it's what makes anything possible. Like yes keeps you from blocking the action. So yes is a radical receptivity. It's welcoming everything. It doesn't mean agreeing or approving with life. It just opens to reality as it shows up. And we had this as infants. I mean, just our first days of life, we're looking around the world, and every sense we experienced was delivering a magnificent show with colors and shapes and sounds and textures, just for us. And this was like, we were nourished by this. This was exciting. And there was no, it was just like, wow. Until we were hungry or had our diaper changed. But if you're having a bad day, chances are it's because your no's are outnumbering your yeses. And we can say yes to anything. I mean, we're not going to say yes to everything right away, but I have met people who are a big yes to all of their experience, and it's profoundly inspiring. It does not mean agreeing with or even accepting everything. It just means welcoming it, recognizing this is reality, and arguing with reality is only going to create suffering. So yes, so this is not to say that resistance is bad. That's like saying no to your no. There's nothing bad. In the playground, everything is welcomed, including difficult emotions, resistance. This is not about putting on a happy face on everything. I call that the tyranny of fun. It's about including everything. And expansion and contraction, inhaling and exhaling, are just part of life. Like there's a time when we're not going to be expansive all the time. My Qigong teacher actually said once, winter is not a failed spring. It's just a cycle. It's just a phase of life. So if we're having a time where, there's a time in life where it's just time to hunker down and close in and, be quiet, say yes to that. There's nothing that you can't say yes to. We can be yes to the whole shebang. And there's a fun story with, Clunker here. He's in Fairfax. He's actually at my house in Fairfax. The way it happened that he even showed up was that he answered a Craig's Post ad for an assistant. And and he was telling me that he was sort of leaving his life and exploring new area, just crawling up the coast in a van with a bag of gear, and has this tech background. So I just thought, I hung up and we were like, yeah, we're going to do this. And then I thought, he's crawling up the coast. I bet he'd like to come to Fairfax. I knew he liked mountain biking. So I just offered him to come stay at our house for a few days while we worked on some stuff preparing for this group. And he said yes. So I was like, I saw an opportunity. I said yes. He said yes. And he's now been at our house for over a month. And he's staying there. And now I'm here in Hawaii. And, it's just adventure started. He's decided to move to Fairfax. So it was just the yeses became a cascade and they created adventure. When you say yes, you open yourself to adventure. The answer, it's like, there are yay-sayers and naysayers. And once you stretch your yes muscle, things start to happen. More adventures start to happen. With no's, you create more safety. So we can train ourselves to be yay-sayers. That's part of what we're doing here. So I want to say, who wants to be a yay-sayer? Who wants to say yes? That's the right answer. So let's try. We're going to do a little exercise.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
When you say no, you say no to, what did you say? Let me see.
Safety.
No to create more safety. Mm-hmm. And you also said when we're safe, we play more. So in a way, by saying no, you get into the space to play more.
That's great. That's a connection. That's a great. So that's why we talk about the habit of safety. We're actually safer than we think we are. So no starts with the assumption that we're not safe, that we have to do more to be safe. We can't feel something. It's not safe to feel it. We're trying to get safe. We're trying to get safe by pushing the world out. And in a way, what play does, it's counterintuitive, but play helps us create a sense of safety through yes. It's another way to get safe. Even though it's risk, we actually experience, when we can play, a sense of safety that comes from expanding, comes from including. So that's really a great, thank you for pointing that out. There are ways in which we create safety by pulling away from the world, and there's ways we can create safety by including and not resisting the world. It's a profoundly different thing. I think this is at the core of the shift from moving from proving ground to playground.
Okay.
So thank you for that question.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's do a little exercise. We're going to try just right now looking around the room, and we're going to go 5 minutes over. Is that okay? If you have to leave, that's okay. You'll find the notes. But we're going to just go a little bit over. This is not very much. But we're going to try just looking around the room and just like, as you see something, register the chair, the ceiling, and just say no. Feel an inner no. You can say it out loud. You'll be muted. Oh, no.
No.
And feel the no as you say it. You know, take it in and say no. All right, now try, just notice how that feels and what it feels like to be in your space. And we'll just make a note of that. And now change the channel to WYES and just say yes. And you can say it out loud. Say yes to the lamp, to the table, to the walls. And just notice what that feels like. So just notice what it feels like to be in your space. All right, so those of you, let's just see, who has to leave now? Okay, we got one. Okay, 2, 3, okay. So the thing is, what we're gonna do, right, if you can wait, we're gonna do buddy pairings just to establish your buddy for at least 2 weeks. We're gonna be practicing, the exercises are gonna be to broaden our yeses and basically look around and just say yes to everything for a few minutes a day. Look for safety. And this will all get written down. Notice when you say no, and just try saying yes to more things. Very simple. But looking for safety is also a practice that we're going to do. So you're going to have a buddy, and we're going to pair you up right now, and you can exchange your info. You are now 12 participants in 6 rooms.
Is it possible to stick with the Irish because of the time difference?
Yes, very good idea.
Thanks.
Okay, so maybe we'll say goodbye to you so the rest of the buddies will get paired up. So why don't we do a little giraffe goodbye. And thank you for this. We compressed a lot into the end. Thank you for your patience at the beginning. It's a lot of technical new stuff, so really, really appreciate it. We'll say